So a message to Israel. Israel, hear me clearly. As an American citizen, I don't represent all Americans. I don't even come close to representing. I represent me. I'm sorry. I am really sorry. I am sorry to the Ukrainians as well. We have violated our oath to you to be your friends. We're not going to come over and fight your wars, but Israel, you don't need anybody to fight your wars. You seem to do a mighty good job on your own. Here's what I can offer. My prayers and my support. And I wish my country would support you. But don't think that our country is our government. It's not. Our country is set up unlike any other country in the world, even yours. Our country is we the people. And there's a good number of we the people. A lot of people. That Republican, Democrat, Independent, left, right, that support you. People that I don't agree with and they don't agree with me. We agree on this. We support your right to exist. We support your right as a Jew to live unmolested. We support your right to live in a state. Everybody is saying we need to have the UN try to come up with a solution. Everybody says we have to have the UN. What does the UN say? What does the UN say? What does the UN say? Well, why are all these people asking what the UN says? Well, because we have to have a global governance. We have to have a global community come together and agree on a solution. Well, the UN came up with a solution. You should be the most legitimate state ever created. Your borders should be the most legitimate of all time, because all those people who say we have to go to UN should be reminded that it was the UN that created your borders in the first place. That it was the UN and this beloved global body that put you in that space. You're just trying to live by the rules the world and that global body set up. You have a right to defend yourself. And dare I say it, none of us would have put up with this as long as you have. If Canada had in its charter that their goal was to destroy the United States of America and kill every American, as Hamas has in her charter, that they want to wipe Israel and all the Jews off the face of the earth, this is a no-brainer. You can't sit at a negotiating table when your whys are different. Why do you want peace? Well, because we want to just live as neighbors side by side and just get along so we can raise our children. Why do you want peace? Well, I want peace because it furthers my goal to wipe them off the face of the earth and kill all the Jews. There is no peace there. There is no peace. But I have to tell you, if this were happening to us, and I know that Jon Stewart and everybody else can make a joke of that, and that's what they do. That's fine. We're here to talk as adults. If this were happening to us or any other country, we would have bombed that country into the Stone Age. Be it right or wrong, that's what most of us would have done. And while everybody in our country seems to deny that we have what we used to believe, American exceptionalism, that's not because we were born better than anybody else. It's because we had a belief in God. And our belief in God changed us. It's what made us charitable. It's what made us good. It's what made us great. So maybe we don't have American exceptionalism anymore. I beg to differ with that, but a lot of people don't believe that. Maybe you have an Israeli exceptionalism because your Israeli exceptionalism would come from the same source. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that teaches us to love one another, to be good to one another. That our best way to be a better man and to serve God is to serve our fellow man. And maybe that's why our rage would have bombed Canada into the Stone Age. But I've never seen Israel act out in rage. And boy, you have had reason. But you don't. You understood when you took the Temple Mount that God does not want bloodshed. You understood the sacred and the sacred nature of that land. And so when you could have taken the Temple Mount, you'd have all sides around it. You didn't. Because you know that bloodshed is not always the answer. I dare say that the other side doesn't know that. But you knew that bloodshed isn't always the answer. Hear me, Israel. Sometimes, unfortunately, bloodshed is the only option left to a peace-loving people. I feel for the Palestinian people. I have met Palestinian people. We have working for us Palestinians. There's a difference between those who have been wrapped up in hatred. That's not Palestinian. You can be wrapped up in hatred and be an American. I feel for the Palestinian people and their children. I believe you do too. But you know, and the rest of the world refuses to face, that they are being lied to by their clerics and their politicians. And unfortunately, in many ways, we are too. It isn't hard to figure out who the bad guys are in this. When people are handing out sweets and candy and celebrating in the streets when there's a kidnapping of a soldier, a kidnapping of anybody. If you were handing out sweets and a kidnapping of a kid from the Gaza Strip, I would say the same thing about you. That's despicable. They did the same thing to us, but too many Americans have forgotten. They did exactly the same thing to us when our World Trade Centers came down and all humans on the planet were sorrowful. All humans on the planet mourned with us and stood with us. They, the Palestinians, were handing out sweets and candy in the streets exactly the way they're doing it to you now. The Palestinians have to stop the insanity themselves. Until they do, you have to protect yourselves. We pray for a peace, and we pray for the end of bloodshed as quickly as possible. But don't let us pull the rug from underneath you. Remain standing. As you now know, even your closest allies won't stand with you unflinching in your hour of need. But know this, many Americans and many all over the world still stand with you, and we will stand with you to the end. While charity has helped you build hospitals that take in friends and foe, our charity, Mercury One, has done the same. We have helped you build those hospitals, and today we're launching another initiative. We're going to help your military as well. We are sending supplies for your military, for your sons and daughters who have been called into action and need flashlights, need blankets, need tents. Mercury One will deliver them. Quite honestly, I'm thinking about delivering them myself this weekend. While your sons and daughters are fighting, we refuse to stand by and let them be in need. While they are protecting the only land the Jew has ever owned, and the only land ever decreed not only by the United Nations, but by the only global authority I recognize, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Israel, you are not alone. Godspeed, God bless, and forgive us, for we know not what we do.